welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of March 2024. Just checking I get my year right there. I hope you're well. I'm using the, what am I using here? The Wildwood? Yes, the Wildwood Tarot for you today. I haven't used this in a very long time. Quite surprised me when it was the one that wanted to come out. Anywho. Before we get started, if the reading resonates with you and you'd like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. That is the first link in the description box. Second link in the description box is to my private community, the Order of the Phoenix, over on the Circle platform. You can get access to all of the extended content for no extra cost beyond the membership fee and hang out with an extraordinary group of people. So if that sounds like it's up your street, please do feel free to give it a go. The third link in the description box is to 3-month overviews that I've done for each of the signs. They run from April to the end of June 2024, obviously. They do cover a rather tumultuous period, so, you know, if you think it would be helpful for you to have a little bit of a bird's eye view about what might be going on there, you know, feel free to avail yourself of that. Anyway. Scorpio. Let's flip the camera around. Oh, let's move your coin out of the way. Oh Lord, all these wires trailing everywhere. That's not good. Let's see what's going on with you. You can have 3 cards for Scorpio, please. 3 cards for Scorpio. There's the first one. We have the 10 of Wands in your recent past. Current energy, please, for Scorpio. Oh, there we go. We've got the Tower. I don't mind that so much for you, Scorpio. We'll get into it in a second. And what's coming towards Scorpio for March, please, the rest of March? We have the Fool. This is a very nice set of cards you've got here. We've got the 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Now, do I want to just zoom in a little bit, I think, and just get rid of all the distracting sideways stuff? There we go. Fractionally beautiful. Now, this Wildwood Tarot does differ somewhat from your standard Rider-Waite in terms of the way that the minor arcana are described or interpreted. Right? Each one of the minor arcana has a keyword on it that is somewhat a different take to what you would usually expect to see. So we'll get into it in a second, but I just wanted to flag that up ahead of time, just in case what comes out deviates somewhat from your understanding of what, let's say, for example, the 10 of Wands is about. Let's get some clarifiers first, though. Tell me about this 10 of Bows, please. Why is this here for Scorpio? We have, no doubt, the Tower. And we have the 4 of Cups, which is showing up sideways here. Tell me about the Tower in the present moment for Scorpio, please. We have the Knight of Wands, Sagittarius energy. And we have the 2 of Pentacles. And what about the Fool, please? Oh, good Lord, right. We've got the World card, of course. We've got the Strength card. I'm sorry, I actually want to put that the right way up because I really do feel that's the way that it goes. At the bottom of the deck, we have the 4 of Wands. There is somewhat of a detonation going on here, Scorpio, in the best possible way. I'll try and move this over. The only problem with zooming in a little bit is that we lose a bit of the space on the table, but I think you can see what I'm seeing there, so that's all fine. Right. We have 2 10s. Representing endings of sorts, or completion is probably the better way of putting it. And we have double towers on the table. Now, because it's you, Scorpio, I'm a little less concerned about that than I might be. And certainly since it seems to be pushing you toward the good, that's the way that we can put that. So let's start off with the 10 of Wands, or as it's known here, the 10 of Bows. Let me hold that up so you can see what that's all about. You can see it says responsibility on it. And we do have a sense of somebody, and this is This is very common with Scorpios, actually. This is something that I've noticed. You know, in those ways that Scorpios consider themselves to be responsible for things, they will literally tear the world asunder to make sure that they meet those responsibilities. You tend to be much more selective than most about what you will accept as a responsibility, but once it's there, it is there. Now, the Ten of Wands, generally speaking, speaks to burden. It speaks to a point of not really being able to continue much longer. And sometimes when that card comes up, I say, you know, are you doing things the difficult way around, Scorpio? It's a fair question, and a lot of people are. But this one feels ever so slightly different because we've got the end in sight, as it is up here. We've got but a short way to go. It's like there's a last push that is required here in terms of things that you feel responsible for, or things that you feel compelled to see through to their end. Because, like I said, there are endings all over this reading here. We've got the Tower, which, because it's a Scorpio card, I feel is a little less terrifying in this. It's not a card that I consider to be a terrifying card anyway, to be honest. It is, it's absolutely about a change of direction in some sort of way. But I don't feel like it's a change of direction that is heralded by, now hang on, how do I want to put this? The problem is because the energy's all over the reading, right? For most signs, the Tower represents chaos. Now, because Scorpio is inherently a chaotic sign, and it is the sign of Scorpio, there's a Plutonian action going on here, yeah, for sure. But it it might as well just represent you and how it is that you're weaving through the world, right? So this Tower feels to me to actually be seated deep within you. This is not a tower that's been going on outside of you and everything's fallen down where, you know, I don't know, you've lost your job or there's some sort of issue with housing or anything like that, right? It's got more of that internal quality, like something is clicking like a dial when you turn it, and it's tick, 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 tick. And there's a point where whatever it is, whatever the dial is on, is going to pop open. And I feel like that's what you're waiting for. Now, it could well be that outside of you, you're engaged in all sorts of busyness and busy work, and I wouldn't be surprised that that was the case, right? We've got the Ten of Wands up here, speaking to what that energy has been for you. But maybe the tick, 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 tick is waiting for the right point to detonate something, right? Blow it up, start again, introduce the chaos, and correspondingly then the creativity in a situation that has been characterized by hard work and nothing else at this point, right? Discharge of duties and whatnot. It's interesting to see the Four of Cups here, because this is the thing that makes me feel like the changes, it has been internal for you rather than external. We've got two fours on the table that are talking about foundation, because that's what the number 4 does. It's foundational stuff. But what we've got here is a foundation that is being created out of joy and happiness and a sense of community, right? A sense of family drawing together, perhaps. Could certainly see that being the case. The tick, 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 tick seems to be around emotional foundations for you. It could be things that you've been hanging on to, you know, emotional positions that you've held that now are kind of getting to a point where they have absolutely expired in terms of their usefulness for you. It feels like an incoming absolute fucking phoenix moment for you, Scorpio. Let me just see what's going on here with this 4 of Cups, please. We have the Magician. And we have the Moon. Interesting. Now, we've got the Hermit at the bottom of the deck here, which is absolutely lending itself very beautifully to the notion that, you know, there's a lot of internal stuff going on, but I think it's a really, really deep internal state that is shifting for you. Like I said, it does have the quality of feeling foundational. The Four of Cups can be a card that is associated with rejection or a fear of rejection. It can be speaking to abandonment issues. It can be speaking, quite frankly, to boredom and apathy in one's own existence. And if you've been working really, really hard, then it wouldn't be a surprise to see that kind of energy there. But the Four of Cups, like I said, it feels more like an emotional foundation on which a lot of how you understand yourself has been built. Now, with the Hermit here and whatever's going off, it feels like there's been, like I said, this shift is happening here. And I think it's fair to say that it's going from upright to reversed. That's the way that it's turning. But it feels like there's a whole set of priorities in front of you. There's a whole set of duties and responsibilities in front of you that you actually want to be responsible for. And a lot of kind of extraneous stuff that has been stopping you from really accessing, for the want of a better phrase, because this is a bit new agey, right? Really accessing your power. The energy of the Magician is about manifestation of all sorts. And it feels to me like there's a desire to get in touch with that in such a profound way. And a corresponding understanding that whatever blockages are in the way, they are products of your subconscious. Self-limiting beliefs and things like that. And quite frankly, you feel completely sick of it. It's like, it's not going to happen anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. And so whatever fundamental emotional beliefs I hold about myself or other people, I'm going to change them. I'm going to shift them. It's as straightforward as that. And, you know, this is a lot of major arcana on the table right now. And it all feels self-directed. I don't feel like you've got that you've got towers falling left and right around you. It feels like the thing that's detonating is internal, and you've laid down the C4, Scorpio. This is very exciting, because when we move into your current energy, we see the expression of that blasted oak, as it's known here, or the tower, moving from an internal place to starting to be something that one can be aware of outside of you. Now we have the Knight of Wands and the Two of Pentacles here. The Knight of Wands is a very, very present energy. It's truly the good side of the Knight of Wands. I mean, it's got another side as well, and that's recklessness and thoughtlessness and all that sort of thing. But I really do feel like it is the mindfulness and the ability to be present in the moment that is at play here. And with the Two of Pentacles, additionally, on top of this, it feels like you're changing things outside of you in alignment with a new set of priorities that you have arrived at by detonating whatever it was that was kind of limiting you from being able to make contact with your own internal magician. A powerful position that you have known has existed within you, and maybe there are ways in which you've been able to manifest this outside of yourself. But specifically, it feels more like knowing that the world is changing and getting all of your ducks in a row so that you are ready to meet it head on. Now, this is really interesting for me because we are moving into extremely tumultuous times, and I said I've been live streaming the 3-month overviews for the people on Circle over the last couple of weeks, and Scorpio is one of the few signs that seems to be having a better time of it. and it is a few, I think three, three out of all of them so far are not having the shit kicked out of them by the universe. But you seem to have shifted ahead of the curve. Positioning yourself, and that's a phrase that's kept coming up today, interestingly enough, positioning yourself to meet what is coming head on, which is very interesting indeed. As I've said in the 3-month overviews, I get the point where I decided to do 3-month rather than 6-month overviews. I'd only really done a cursory dig into the energies of April. And the more that I sit with this and the more I do readings around this sort of time frame, the more obvious it is that this is the point at which things begin to change, right? But one of the things that I've said on those live streams is that I actually caught Rick Levine last week, who's quite an accomplished astrologer, if any of you are unaware of who he is. And he said that to his mind, February and March were like the launch pad for the energies of April, May and June. And I thought that's really interesting because it's phrased it better, but that was largely what I was feeling too. And your launch pad here seems to be a complete incineration of whatever has held you back, so that you fully are ready to meet what is coming. Now, this Knight of Wands is clarified by the Empress, 2 of Pentacles. We've got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. That's interesting because it feels like a rewind for you. That's the way that I would describe that energy there. So rather than coping, which is how I often see the 2 of Wands, the energy seems to be, right, rather than coping, rather than expending lots of energy in a direction that I don't need to do, how can I rewind on myself? How can I rewind on whatever duties, responsibilities, things that I need to discharge? How can I rewind the energy on that and come back to a space of what do I need to do to be ready? Now, for some of you, there might be something kind of creative about the way that you're doing this. After all, I mean, the Empress is about abundance. Maybe you are sorting out your finances. That is possible. Maybe you're sorting out the things that you need to be comfortable. But the Empress talks about the birthing of something new coming into the world. And the fact that you've got a reading that is characterized by endings and, well, you know, the Tower is always an ending. The Tens are endings. I wonder if the new thing that's coming out into the world, Scorpio, is you. Because it feels like a big power-up. We're no longer investing attention and energy in the things that we were before. Instead, focusing purely on what is new and how you can bring your full self to what happens next. Like I said, the 4 of Wands at the bottom of the deck is the creation of a new foundation over there. We've got the 10 of Cups over here, and we haven't even really spoken about this, but this feels like a motivation for doing what you're doing here. It isn't just about making yourself comfortable. I think it actually isn't about making yourself comfortable at all. It's with an eye on the people outside of you, of which you are a part of, you are part, frankly, whether this is family, whether this is community, whatever. It's like there's a sense of you stepping up here so that you can be what you need to be. And no longer will you invest in anything that makes your experience of life feel like you are just coping. This is really quite extraordinary. Tell me more about this tower up here at the top. We've got the Two of Wands, interesting. And we've got the Five of Wands. I mean, I do think that this implies that this has been very much a conscious decision by you. You know, the Five of Wands is conflict and strife, and sometimes it's struggle. It's like you've had an absolute lightning bolt of clarity hit you, Scorpio. What is important? What am I here for? And what the fuck am I doing over there doing other things if I need to be here? And if a very particular version of me needs to be here instead. Like, your energy feels really industrious to me. Like, I can't swear to it, but certainly in my subtle body, I feel like my heart rate's just fucking doubled, which is really, really weird, because actually it's not at all. It's doing a perfectly normal heartbeat. You seem to be pulling an energy from somewhere, I know not where. Like I said, it's like a lightning bolt from the blue, and all of a sudden, it's like everything makes sense. There's a clarity. There's a drive, more importantly, which is amazing. Now, when we move into the energy of March proper, and I do realise these readings are late, so thank you for waiting for me. I really do appreciate that. We have the World, the Strength card, and the Queen of Wands. Now, the Fool is everything, frankly, and quite literally everything. It is both nothing and everything simultaneously, occupying the same space. It is pure potential where anything is possible, with faith and trust, which are the two energies that the Fool move in. It's freedom and liberation, and it feels like a freedom and liberation from what suddenly seems to have hit you in some respects as having been a little bit of a bullshit existence at times. Now, I use that phrase, it's a bit abrasive, but it feels like you're sitting up and paying attention. And not to things that are happening outside of you, but to just where everything has fallen in the right place inside for you to be able to make connections that you could not make before. And then very consciously decide. Do you know what it's like? It's realising you've been playing a game all this time and you didn't know what the rule says. And then suddenly finding the rule book and being like, I am going to ace this now. Because all of the things that were holding me back were from a place of ignorance that you cannot claim anymore, because you've just worked it all out. Not that I think that you would want to claim a place of ignorance. So we have the energy of the Fool permeating right the way through March for you. This is your launch pad. This is where you start from for the next 3 months. And we have the World card there. A card that represents fucking hell. I cut my finger with you can't see it, with a bread knife the other day, and I've got this huge hunk of flesh that is now ready to fall off. The kind of completion that one sees when we have done the work that Saturn has required of us. You know, the World card is ruled by Saturn, and that's not a coincidence. Saturn brings us, delayed gratification and rules and restrictions and frustrations and delays and all these kind of things. But it's actually, although it's one of the malefic planets, it is kind of done from a place of love. It's like that teacher who won't let you get away with anything because it knows your potential. and they want to see you reach your potential. I mean, what seems to be happening here is in an instant, in a moment, you seem to have done exactly that. Pulled all the pieces together at the same time and cracked a code. Your code. The world card is a graduation from a cycle that we have been stuck in. And this could be a cycle that's been, I don't know, half a decade long. But for some of you, it could be considerably longer than that. We could be talking about a pattern that has been playing out for the most part, across as much of your life as you can remember. And all of a sudden, like that, it stopped, making way for the energy of the Fool. We have the Strength card, which is representative of some incredible growth and resilience. But we have also the Queen of Wands, and I can't help but feel that the Strength and the Queen of Wands together is lending an element of visibility to Scorpio that generally Scorpio is extremely uncomfortable with. It's allowing yourself to be seen with no fear whatsoever. I just keep on saying, like, you've got it, you've worked it out, you've done it. Now, let us not think that this doesn't mean that there will no longer be any troubles or strife in your life of any sort, but something really fundamental seems to have shifted here. And like I said, you are turning to meet it. It feels very important to you that you do that. Let's get some of this card here. And the interesting thing, it doesn't feel like it's just for the benefit of you. We've got the High Priestess. I mean, your intuition is off the charts during this month. But your openness is off the charts. We've got the Four of Pentacles showing up in reverse, like something really fundamental has been released. That's the third card numbered Fool that we have on the table for you now. One more, please, for Scorpio. That's it. One more. That's three. But we have the Ten of Pentacles, we have the Strength card, and we have the Six of Cups with the Chariot at the bottom of the deck. I mean, you're just killing it, Scorpio. There's such a wisdom here in this Six of Cups because it's being preceded by the Ten of Pentacles and the Strength card. Like, I wonder if for some of you, you really have just barreled straight through some sort of generational karma that you've been battling for years, right? And like I said, everything just seems to have coalesced and it's come together at once. And you're like, that's how I get shot of it. That's amazing. There's something really, really deep that's shifted here. And we'll see its expression in March because you are no longer burdened. You are no longer weighed down. You have, in fact, been released from something. I mean, it could well be that there's some pretty sensational karma that's been released here, but it feels more like a knowing, an alignment. This is what it is. This is what it's about. I want to be of service. And now I can be of service. This is the most extraordinary reading, Scorpio. All right. I'm going to take this over to the extended now and find out what it is that you need to know about the rest of March. But this sense of you having seized upon something and everything else making sense in its wake. It's very, very strong. And this Ten of Pentacles could, it doesn't have to indicate generational karma or even generational trauma. I mean, it can now be talking to a sense of community and togetherness and belonging. But the Ten of Pentacles also talks to me about heritage and legacy and how there might have been now some sort of shift in your subtle body that has changed what you have inherited, making a very visible legacy for all around you to see. This is extraordinary. Right, I'm going to go dig into this in the extended. It's very exciting. I'm curious. Right, if you would like to join me over there, you're very welcome to do so. You can do that on Circle, or you can do that on Vimeo. If neither of those appeal, no problem at all. Scorpio, keep doing what you are doing, because you are definitely headed in the right direction. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Keep following the intuition. Keep doing as you are guided to do by that intuition. And allow yourself to explore the feeling of not being weighed down in quite the same way as you have lived your life so far. Because it feels pingy, it feels exciting, it feels like everything and nothing at the same time, right? All right, I'll leave it there. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.